Hello everyone, TP here, and today I'll be ranking Season 9. Now, I'll say Season 9 was an improvement upon Season 8. Like, so many more good episodes, like more than I could count even. But anyways, let's get into the list of episodes. Skarloey the Brave. You all knew this was coming, didn't you? Yeah, in all honesty, this episode was a big pile of It has nothing good in it other than the visuals and lighting. I mean, they're pretty good. But still, it's bad. I hate it, and I'm sure everyone else does too. 1 out of 10. Rheneas and the Dinosaur. Another obvious stinker in this season. Not just one. Like, why are Scarlet and Rheneas... Why are Scarlet and Rheneas fighting over who gets to take a fucking dinosaur skeleton? I guess I can kind of understand, but you used the wrong characters. Okay, here's a way to fix this episode. I think this episode would have been so much better if Rheneas was replaced with Sir Handel and Skarloey with Duncan. I swear I will never watch this mindfuckery again in my life. Thomas and the Golden Eagle. What the hell happens in this episode? I can't seem to remember a single thing about it. Like, does Thomas leave trains for Percy to take, and Thomas takes Percy to see 2 random eagle statues? Like, what? I can't remember anything about this episode. 2 out of 10. I just can't remember anything about this episode. It's so forgettable. Thomas tries his best. This episode is 100% skippable and can easily be removed from this fucking lineup. Yeah, I just forgot about this episode entirely, other than Thomas just takes chickens and acts reckless with them, just like he did in Thomas Gets It Right. 2 out of 10. Thomas and the Rainbow. Why in the name of hell was this nominated for a BAFTA? This episode just sucks so bad. Like, Thomas is stupid in this episode. Like, he doesn't know what a rainbow is, despite the fact that he's wise in like every other episode. And this is the same tank engine who doesn't know what a rainbow is. Like, what? I mean, okay, Edward is at least in character, which I will give the episode points for, but it still sucks. 2 out of 10. Molly's Special. Another forgettable, boring episode of the hit era. Like, Molly is honestly not an interesting character to me. I mean, maybe it's her paint job that throws me off, because that shade of yellow is my least favorite color, and I don't want to explain why. I honestly wish she had gone for a more realistic paint job instead of this. 3 out of 10. Tuneful Toots. Rusty is impatient, but I think it's actually kind of justified here. At least in my opinion, anyway. I'm sorry, that might have been a hot take. I mean, Rusty is taking special passengers, which is the brass band, after all. So I can kind of understand why. Because, as I said, he's carrying special passengers. But this is not as bad as the Season 10 episode, which we'll get to next time. But this episode it still sucks. Like, one thing I clearly forgot to mention about the other 2 narrow gauge episodes I just talked about, the music gets instantly repetitive with the horn music being used every damn time. Like, can you give some other instruments? God damn it. I hate this episode. Well, I don't hate it, but it's just bad. 3 out of 10. Thomas's milkshake muddle. Again, I forget what happens in this episode. Thomas, I think, is an idiot in this episode. I'm not really sure. At this point, I've just forgotten the episode now. 3 out of 10. Thomas and the Birthday Picnic. A very boring episode where Thomas just goes all over the place to find a good picnic area. And the ending with the Happy Birthday song by the engines whistling is just very awkward. I mean, at least this episode does have Thomas in character, with him wanting to find the perfect spot for the picnic. And the Fat Controller just forcing Thomas to think of ideas just feels wrong to me. Like, I can understand why, like, I guess he is in kind of a rush, but like, why would you force Thomas to think quickly? still, I'm sorry, I just don't like it. It just feels wrong to me that the Fat Controller would actually force Thomas to think up something so quickly. 4 out of 10. Thomas and the new engine. I honestly have no idea what to think of this episode. I liked it, I hated it, now I think it's just the best way I can put it, not very good. Like, the Crash was good, and Neville is an interesting character, and I like his design and livery, but there's not that much to him. Oh well, at least he appeared in more than one episode, at least. In some other episodes later down the road, along with Molly. But the episode just wasn't that good for me. 4 out of 10. Toby feels left out. This Toby episode is just kind of boring to me. Like, Toby thinking the Fat Controller will put him in the new museum is just very odd. I mean, oh well, at least Toby isn't a scared child for the most part. 4 out of 10. Emily knows best. The Toby and Percy dynamic is back and is still up to its hype, and the Crash was funny to see, and the scene with Toby and Emily, like, Toby saying, "You have to be clever to be a queen, and know the right thing to do," and Emily replying, "I always know the right thing to do," and Toby just laughs at her is just hilarious. But Emily being a rebellious bitch, again, just ruins the episode for me. Why does Emily keep acting like such a rude, impatient prick yet again? Like, why is Hit doing this to her? Like, honestly, I just prefer her season 7 portrayal. That was the best portrayal of her in the model series, at least in my opinion. But I just feel it just keeps getting worse every time. Oh well, at least they did some good stuff with Emily in the Hit era, but this is just not one of them. 5 out of 10. It's honestly just alright. Saving Edward. I like Thomas in this episode, but Edward thinking he'll be scrapped, like, where the hell was that pulled from? Save from scrap? Because I find that bullshit. And, I mean, at least Edward isn't rude or anything like that. Definitely not going to be a thing in the next season, right? Right? But still, this episode is just very mid. 5 out of 10. Thomas and the Toy Shop. I personally really like this one. I know Thomas reverts back to not wanting others' help, but that's the only negative in this episode. Like, the rest of the episode is just good. I mean, like, I just want to follow, like if you watched Louis' ranking videos, he states in his season 7 video that he doesn't judge an episode for one aspect. He just looks at the episode entirely. I want to do the same thing. And that's what I'm doing right here. Like, Thomas, of course, reverting back to not wanting others to help him. I don't like that, but are we just gonna ignore the rest of the episode? Is actually pretty cool. And like with Thomas and Henry's dynamic, and like, that's barely ever seen in the show. Like, the last time it was used was like season 5, I think. And I like that Henry offers to help Thomas when he is at his lowest point, which kind of reminds me of Super Rescue from the Railway series, and Something in the Air from season 5, where Thomas helped Henry, and now Henry is returning the favor. Such a clever idea, whether intentional or not. I just feel no one talks about this episode, and I wish it was praised more for the reasons I just explained. 7 out of 10. The Magic Lamp. Peter Sam turning down Scarloi's idea was a bit weird, but I like that we at least got a follow-up story in Season 12, which I'll talk about when that video comes out. Unlike Duncan Gets Spooked, where that follow-up to Peter Sam's mishap is just missing. But overall, I don't have much to say about this episode other than it's a good Peter Sam episode. 7 out of 10. Thomas's Day Off. Another really good Thomas episode. Dennis, in my opinion, is the best newbie to come from season 9. He's just so cool in terms of his design and personality, and very relatable, might I add. But there's one shot as there's just one shot as Dennis is telling Thomas the truth, and once it is revealed, we cut to Thomas looking so pissed. And I imagine him saying in his head, "This lazy-ass bitch just wasted my fucking day." And I am all here for it. I I really love that scene. But overall, this is just a good Thomas episode. Not great, not bad, but just good. 8 out of 10. Mighty Mac. This is the first narrow gauge episode of the entire hit era. Yeah, if you didn't note it, I don't think I acknowledged this in the Season 8 video, but we got no narrow gauge episodes in that season. But, okay, anyways. Aside from the opening scene with the filler intro, Mighty Mac, the new engine, is the only narrow gauge character to appear throughout the entire episode. I really like that. Like, the episode, like, aside from the opening, the new character is the only character present in the season. Like, not the season, I mean the episode. I'm sorry, I just can't get over how Mighty Mac, like the new character, like the only they're like the newbie of like Mighty Mac are the newbie of the whatever. Anyway, I probably should stop rambling on about this one. Like, all I'm trying to say is I really like that the newbie characters, whatever, get the time in the spotlight, and aside from the opening, they're the only ones present. Which is really nice to see. I also like how Thomas is handled in this episode. Overall, just a good episode with the second best newbie of the season. 8 out of 10. Respect for Gordon. Okay. I know one of my friends is scared of this episode, but I still have to talk about it, because some people want to understand my opinions. But anyways, this is a really good Gordon episode. Of course, Emily's a bitch again. A very somewhat understandable case, I guess. I do think leaving tankers in the middle of the main line is very stupid, considering Gordon literally smashed half of the tankers to pieces. And speaking of, the crash itself is really good. Okay, anyway, moving on. Yeah, this is still a good Gordon episode in my eyes. 8 out of 10. Flower Power. This is a nice Thomas and Diesel spooky story. Like, the visuals are great. The sight of Thomas and White Flower was so creepy but hilarious when he scared the absolute shit out of Diesel. And let me tell you, he deserved that. Because, well, just look how he behaved earlier. And overall, this is just a really good Thomas and Diesel episode. 8 out of 10. Bold and Brave. I really like this one because it not only has Thomas in character, but it has Diesel tell Thomas about the Curse of the Cliffs, which does sound quite scary to me. I also really like how Thomas is such a brave engine and not out of character, unlike the episode that followed it. I don't want to talk about it or mention it anymore. But still, this is a really, really good Thomas episode. 9 out of 10. Percy and the Oil Painting. This is one of the only episodes to have the 3 strikes formula done right. And boy, is this whole episode done so right as well. Percy is in character to his classic series persona, and I loved it when he just rages at the artist and basically just defends everyone around him. That just kind of feels similar to Season 5 Percy, if you think about it. Like, that is the Percy we like to see. 9 out of 10. I really like this episode. Keeping Up with James. The snow setting is great to see as always, and so is James and his vain as hell personality we've come to know and love. And the crash and music were both really good too. And other than that, I don't have much to say about this episode other than I really like it. 9 out of 10. Henry and the Flagpole. I personally really love this episode because I just really love how it's a major improvement upon the episode that deserves to not exist. And I really love that Henry cares for nature again, and I honestly think it's at its best here in my opinion. Like, yeah, I will always adore Henry's forest, but Henry willing to protect a pine tree is something I have never seen Henry do before. And that is just excellent. And I like Salty, Thomas, and Toby in this episode as they're all in character to their original personalities from the classic series. I just really love this episode overall. 10 out of 10. Thomas and the Statue. Thomas is definitely in character in this episode, as well as everyone else. And yet we got another moment where Percy rages at Thomas, but it rages, well, but it's at Thomas's ego. And Thomas willing to clear the tracks for the engines despite the fact that he hates wearing his snowplow is genuinely sweet, and shows that sometimes you gotta make sacrifices to what you don't like in order to help others. That is something that possibly everyone should learn. Like, they might not have to do it, but they would probably want to do it anyway, just so that it's done and out of the way. And the ending overall just truly felt like something out of a season finale. Like, heck, this should have been the season finale. That would have been something like the classic series, where a winter/Christmas episode would be at the end. Like, they should have just gone with that instead of the flower power. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still really like that episode, but it just kind of doesn't work as a finale. I personally think Thomas and the Statue works the most as a finale. At least to me, anyway. But yeah, Thomas and the Statue, another great Thomas episode, 10 out of 10. Thomas's new trucks. Ah yes, the funniest episode of the season in my opinion. I really love Thomas and James in this, and the crash with Thomas is good and James getting covered in melons was funny. These two dickheads just love to battle each other. It's so great to see. 10 out of 10. I love this episode. Sorry about that. I accidentally paused my recording. I deeply apologize. Anyways, so you're probably thinking, what is the #1 spot? Well, what if I told you that spot belonged to the best episode of the Hit era? And that episode is Duncan and the Old Mine. This is my favorite episode of the season and the Hit era as a whole for a few reasons. One, Duncan being in a dark area as an adventure is something I will always love, and kind of reminds me of Duncan Gets Spooked, where Duncan was also in a dark area. And this just feels like a true Thomas the Tank Engine story. Like, lots of other Thomas stories feel like Thomas stories, like, duh. But Duncan in the Old Mine is probably the one that I think of the most as a true Thomas the Tank Engine episode. And as I stated this episode is the best to come out of season 9 and the Hit era entirely. 10 out of 10. I love this episode. And that is my ranking list for season 9. So here's what I think of the season. It's my favorite Hit season. Even though there are some terrible episodes, like the obvious, I still think some of the good episodes were better than Season 8's good episodes. And honestly, it's just an alright season overall. But hey, at least it had, because half of the episodes were good to great, and the other half was mid to awful. Like, and that alone creates a mid-season. So, yeah, Season 9 holds first place as the best season of the Hit era, even though it's not great, but it's not bad either. So, I thank you guys for watching, as always, and I'll see you in Season 10. Oh boy, this is not gonna end well for me.